Wow, it's already been an hour. Yeah, talk about losing track of time when your mind is so absorbed in doing things. And I just want to talk a little bit about that too. Okay, your mind. Okay, right now it is 12:05. Okay, your mind. How interesting is that? We just got done talking about how sound. Okay, sound could make. Sound produces certain properties, or sound. The experiment with sound and sand. Okay, the sound made the sand. The sound vibrated the sand, making it form a certain structure. Okay, that's the words I'm looking for. Okay, back to what I was saying before. What was I saying before? Okay, the mind. Okay, it's so interesting how the mind can get so absorbed in whatever it is doing. Okay, and going back to a sound. Okay, like with music, for example. Music is a sound. Okay, and it really, really, really could put you in a certain state of consciousness. Notice that next time you're listening to music. Okay, notice the state of being you get moved into. Okay, when you're listening to music that really pumps you up. It gets your mind going, and then you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go climb a mountain right now. Or other music that let's say brainwaves, for example. I personally really love brainwaves, or just yoga music. Those cool, soft tunes, that get you in a state of just calm and meditation and just peace. All that is sound. And even just as the sound had an effect on that sand, sound has an effect on your consciousness. Okay? Remember how we were talking about the power of words from our book, The Instant Millionaire. Okay? When he I want to say experimented, but he was messing with his when the mentor, the Instant Millionaire, was putting his student through a lesson, okay, with the power of words. Okay, and he was telling his student that his student was going to die that day. Like, hey, you're going to die today. Okay? And that's when his student, after a while, began to believe it. Okay? Because that was all he continued to hear all day. Okay? That's all he heard the entire day. Okay? And he started to believe it after a while. Okay? And the lesson of that chapter was in the power of words. Okay? Now I want to talk a little bit more about affirmations now. Okay? You need to affirm who you are. You need to say, I am strong. I am courageous. Things like that. Because then you move and you're thinking those thoughts. You move into that state of vibration. Remember, we become what we think about. And as we... I just lost what I was talking about once I moved into thinking about thoughts. Man, that sucks. Sound. The effect of sound on your vibration. Words. That's what we were talking about. Words. Okay, so always speak the most positive, influential words to yourself. Okay, because there's not always going to be somebody there to tell that to you. So you have to learn to do that, to tell yourself that. Okay, be strong enough to tell yourself, you know what? I don't care how I feel right now. I am strong. I don't care what somebody else thinks of me. I know I'm better than this. Just like Les Brown says, someone else's opinion of you does not have to become your reality, because nothing affects us any more than our own immediate thinking. Okay, whatever anyone else thinks or whatever anyone else says or does, that they can't affect you unless you give them permission. Okay, and how is it that you give them permission? By accepting that suggestion, by starting to think that way, by that magnetic induction, by starting to think of yourself however it is this person is thinking of you. Okay, if however this person is thinking of you in a negative way, then you need to flip your vibrations and be like, you know what, you have no idea who I am. You need to, maybe before you really say anything, you need to actually take a second and figure out who I am. Before you start sending out these negative thoughts towards me, because I can feel them. And this caused me to not really want to do anything or really have much to do with you. Okay, things like that. Okay, let's go ahead and continue because we still have a few pages to go through. And yeah, the last section was an hour, and we're like halfway, so let's continue. This proves that vibration is the origin of form, each particular vibration giving rise to a corresponding form. Vibration, then, is at the foundation of physics. Form, as well as light, heat, color, and sound, are inseparably connected with vibratory activities. Each vibration expresses itself in a form corresponding to that particular rate of vibration. Like we were saying with color earlier, okay? Color is an expression of the form of vibration, okay? Or, yeah, color is the form of that certain rate of vibration. Like that long wave you see as red is different than that shorter wave you would see as yellow, but yet they're still colors. There's still vibration. And remember, even if you don't have an eye to see the color, that vibration is still there within the atmosphere. Form, then, is the organized result of energy at certain rates of vibration. Vibrations express themselves in corresponding geometrical figures, and in this way build up crystals, which are the expression of vibration. A number of these crystals collectively forming a body of the particular elements, which is the outgrowth of that particular vibration. Like he said in one of the beginning chapters, that mind is a system of vibrations. Okay, the mind being the vibrating system of the body. And remember what we learned, we have 7 major nerve ganglia along the sympathetic nervous system, along our subconscious mind, the 7 chakras, okay, and these 7 major nerve ganglia are responsible for the form of the human being. Okay, I have a book right here. It's called Anatomy of the Spirit. I plan on reading it after I read the Wheels of Life, because the Wheels of Life I feel is the most basic form of it. But Anatomy of the Spirit, you know, it's the system of vibration. Study the beautiful forms of snowflakes falling on cold winter days. You will find that one day, well, he's moving into snowflakes right now. You will find that one day the forms are quite different from those of the day before or the day after, although the conditions may differ, but in the very smallest degree. Nevertheless, this minute difference has sufficed to evolve these very different forms, each of which is the exact expression of a special complex relation between moisture, motion, pressure, temperature, rarity, electrical tension, and chemical composition of the air that prevailed during that formation. When a thread is introduced into a bowl of saline solution, and then lifted out of it, there will gather over the entire length of the submerged string a mass of mathematically perfect crystals of salt. Hold on, I want to read that one again. Okay, so when a thread is introduced into a bowl of saline solution, and then lifted out of it, there will gather over the entire length of the submerged string a mass of mathematically perfect crystals of salt. Okay, so basically saying, let's say there's a bowl of salt. Okay, just take a fine thread, dip it in that bowl, and then pull it straight out. Okay, he's saying that of the submerged string a mass of mathematically perfect crystals of salt, meaning the mathematically perfect amounts of salts were picked up as that string came in and then came right up. Mathematically perfect, that precision. Just like nature's law, all of it works in perfect order. Okay, just like this string picked up the perfect amount of salt according to, you know, the size of that string. Okay, likewise with natural law. Once we learn how to use them and use them to our advantage, then everything's going to happen with exact mathematical certainty. At least that's what's to be expected anyway. It has been observed by the students of nature that the crystals are never exactly alike. Not only is this true of the different chemical elements, but we know that each individual crystal is a little different. Now, knowing that this crystallization is due to vibration, and all differences in the form of the crystal are, therefore, due to differences in the rate of vibration, we can recognize the fact that the individuality of any object is due to the corresponding individuality in the vibration which gave it expression. So no two salts were the same, okay, which means that there were no same definite amount of vibrations at that moment in time which every other salt. Meaning if every salt was different, then none of those salts were present, or even the vibrations in the atmosphere change that instantly for there not to be the same grains of salt twice. It's amazing. It's like an instantaneous thing. It's an instantaneous thing. It is the law of vibration which brings to maturity the fruit of every thought, whether wholesome or unwholesome, desirable or undesirable. It is this law which causes the things which we see to take form. It is this law which gives sparkle to the diamond, luster to the amethyst, color to the grape, fragrance to the rose, beauty to the lily, and it is through the operation of this law that each of us is attracting to ourselves the associates, experiences, circumstances, conditions, and environments by which we are related to the objects and purposes which we seek. Existence is like the output of a loom. The pattern, the design is there. But whereas the looms are mere machines, once the guiding cords have been fed into them, the loom of time is complicated by a multitude of free agents, who can modify the web, making the product more beautiful or more ugly, according as they are in harmony or disharmony with the general scheme. With the Arabic numerals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0, any conceivable number may be expressed. With the 26 letters of the alphabet, any conceivable thought may be expressed. With the 14 primary elements, any conceivable thing may be organized. What is true in the inorganic world is likewise true in the organic world. Certain conscious processes will invariably be followed by the same consequence. Clearly, then, it requires an intelligent force to direct the activities of these electrons and cause them to unite with regular mathematical precision, and thus bring into being matter of every conceivable form. Remember how we learned that mind is the principle behind which bring these electrons together. Remember, it's we live in a field of energy, a field of electrons, okay, and we are an embodiment of this energy. We ourselves are electromagnetic within our own nature, okay, and when we like I say, I'm gonna go over the double slit experiment right now, okay, with observing things, okay, because we know that the observer and the observed are one, okay. I and my Father are one. I am. You're an exact replica and expression of the universal mind, the universal consciousness. And with that being said, whatever it is that you're looking at, remember, it is the created universe is creating more of itself through its created beings, meaning that we were created from the universe and the universe continues to create through us, okay? Because with this double slit experiment, when we observe something, okay, we are changing the electrons and atoms which are there, okay, those things that we're observing is changing on what is it called? The field, with the magnetic, not magnetic, what is that word? Quantum, okay, going quantum, okay, quantum. Where were we? When we focus on something, when we're observing something, okay, we're changing the electrons on a quantum level. Okay, the electrons are moving themselves in accordance to whatever it is you're observing them to be. Okay, like we were saying earlier, electrons can exist both as a wave or as a particle. Okay, they have the power to be two. Okay, when it exists as a wave, it's not being observed. Okay, but when it is observed, it's moving together, forming particles, you can say, within the ether, and then due to the law of attraction, and thus bring it into being matter of every conceivable form. Very, very interesting, because that brings me back to how he was saying that a thought within the cosmic mind produces the form, but the thought of the individual expresses itself in form. You know, like you hear them say it too, God is thinking about you. God thinks about you all the time. Okay, and that's true, because the thought of you within God is what creates you. The thought of you within this substance is what creates it. You know, like the thought of an oak tree. Okay, like that's what makes an oak tree, because it exists within the intelligence of God. You know, the universal mind. As to our own personal, you know, like the intelligence, like that God is within us. You know, I and my Father are one. You know, we are one and the same as Him. We are created in His image. Okay, and this, our conscious mind. Man, what was I going into? Yes, the form of which we are is a thought within God of what we are. You know, and our thoughts are expressed through that form. You know, like I'm thinking about making this book right now. I'm thinking about what to say right now. I'm thinking about this video right now. Me thinking about all this is what is causing it to happen in my life. Because if I was thinking about it, but I was sitting on the couch, then I wouldn't be aligned with myself. Alignment. Yeah, since I brought it up, let's talk about it. When your thoughts, actions, and words are in alignment, then you will truly be happy. But if you're thinking one thing and doing another, then you're not being who you truly are. Yeah, it's amazing. Mind is then the source of all things, in the sense that the activity of mind is the initial cause of all things coming into being. This is because the primal source of all things is the corresponding thought in the universal mind. Okay, now we're going into what we were just talking about, was a corresponding thought. Okay, the primal source, the form of all things, is a corresponding thought in the universal mind. It is the essence of a thing that constitutes its being, and the activity of mind is the cause by which the essence takes form. The activity of mind. Okay, when the mind starts to think. Wow, I was just talking about this the other day when I was talking about our own I amness, our own being. Okay, because from our own I am, we are just something that is. We're simply an intelligence which is in existence. Okay, we might not know what we are, we might not know where we are, we might not even know who we are. But that's alright, because we know that we are. And this very knowing that we are is simply the very essence of what and who we truly are. And when this knowingness, you know, this self-awareness starts to think about things, okay, that's when it starts to condition itself to being a certain way, okay, and how it's saying here. And the activity of mind is the cause by which the essence takes form. An idea is a thought conceived in the mind, and this rational form of the thought is the root of form, in the sense that this form of thought is the initial formal expression, which acting upon substance causes it to assume form. We become what we think about, because the thoughts we take are impressed. There can be nothing except as there is an idea or ideal form engendered in the mind. Such ideas, acting upon the universal, engender corresponding forms. Matter being cosmic mind, in physical manifestation, we perceive that everything is possessed of intelligence, directing its development and manifestation. This is the intelligence which causes rocks to cohere and crystallize, while plants manifest life in an entirely different manner. Matter being cosmic mind in physical manifestation, we perceive that everything is possessed of intelligence, directing its development and manifestation. The subconscious, okay, this intelligence is directing your own heartbeats, it's directing the own flow of your blood. Okay, remember we learned that the subconscious being the median between the personal conscious mind and the universal conscious mind, which makes a lot of sense because the body is the conscious mind, okay, and the universal mind being nature's mind, just the mind of the universe, and this mind produces and the thoughts in this mind produces a form of things, and then the thoughts of the individual expresses itself in the form of things. This is the intelligence which causes rocks to cohere and crystallize. The subconscious intelligence. While plants manifest life in an entirely different manner. Plant life divides its cells rapidly, absorbs moisture, air, and light readily, while the rock expels them. But they both combine and transform elements in just the right proportions to reproduce, perpetuate, and color their species. The one purpose in life for centuries was as simple as that of the lower animals or plants, the simple aim of self-preservation and of the production of descendants. Human beings were contented with the simplest organic function, nutrition, and reproduction. Hunger and love were their only motive for actions. For a long period, they must have aimed at the one single object of self-preservation. In the root of our ancestry, specific lines were traveled and specific characters established. We lose neither the one nor the other, for both lines and character are projected from generation to generation. The lines, although invisible, are never broken, nor are they ever abruptly changed in other type expressions. Neither are the characteristics ever lost though they continue to project from generation to generation down through the ages. So, heredity, okay, we're supposed to be 99% the same as the person next to us when it comes to genes and DNA and just how the body works, okay? We may distill, analyze, compound all the elements that are used as conveyors or vehicles in the process of constructive energy, and we will not find the element that will produce a nut, a plum, or even as much as a mustard seed, unless we send the energy into condensation over character lines as constructive molds that must first be established. Character lines are invisible tracks over which and through which nature is ever pressing into constructivity every element and thing of creation from the plane of the fungi to that of the intellectual and spiritual man. Character lines are invisible tracks over which and through which nature is ever pressing into constructivity every element. Okay, character lines, that golden line that is shared amongst everybody. Those are character lines. Nature works through character lines. In its highest form of expression, the principle of attraction is manifested in love. It is the one universal principle that equally governs the seeming involuntary affinities of minerals and vegetable substances, the passions of animals, and the loves of men. The law of love is a piece of pure science, and the oldest and simplest form of love is the elective affinity of two differing cells. Above all laws is the law of love, for love is life. And without love there will be no life, because it is the elective affinity of two differing cells. Elective affinity, the bringing together of two different things. And just like two people must come together. Two cells must come together. Progress being the object of nature, and altruism the object of progress, the book of life is found to be a love story. And that is the end of section 14 on magnetism. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching with us. And we're in the process of becoming, we're learning, okay, we're doing, we're becoming the best possible versions of ourselves that we can be. And join us. Why not be the best possible version of yourself? There's too many people not doing the best that they can do. I'll admit that sometimes. I don't always do the best that I can do. But there are also those times where it's just like, hey, you know what? I need to do this. You know, I need to do this because what would amazing look like? What would amazing look like? If you were that amazing, what would that look like? This is the end of section 14 of You. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the other side of the galaxy. Remember our daily affirmation, okay? That we are the lights of the world, you and me, and together we can make a difference.